So, we are in the midst of the January transfer window, and rumours have been swirling around the club of potential incomings and outgoings. In today's video, we will discuss Brendan Rodgers as he has given us a massive Celtic transfer update, whilst going over all the latest Celtic news from the last 24 hours. But first, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. As speculation grows around Kieran Tierney's potential pre-contract agreement with Celtic, the defender's situation at Arsenal continues to underline his fall from favour. Tierney was given just 8 minutes of game time during the second half of extra time in the FA Cup clash against Manchester United, replacing the injured Jorginho. Hardly a ringing endorsement that the manager decided to reluctantly bring Kieran into the fold so late on. It's hardly a ringing endorsement for the former Celtic star, especially as the match went to penalties and Tierney wasn't among those trusted to step up. His limited involvement will only fuel hopes among Celtic supporters that a return to Parkhead could be on the cards. If Celtic are content to wait until the summer, they'll have plenty of time to iron out the details. However, should they aim to bring Tierney home this month, they'll need to act swiftly. The January window slams shut in just over 3 weeks. With Alexandro Bernabé all but out the door, Greg Taylor's future still up in the air, and Alex Varley only here on loan until the end of the season, bringing Kieran back would be a massive boost to the squad. Now, for the main story, Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers delivered a coy transfer update after the Hoops' convincing 4-1 win over Ross County on Saturday. Kyogo Furuhashi opened the scoring towards the end of the first half. Despite Jordan White's penalty equaliser, late goals from Kyogo once more, Arnie Engels and Luke McCowan made sure the boys drove back down the A9 with 3 points intact. Wing duo Dyson Maeda and Nicholas Kuhn missed out on the trip to the Highlands through injury, but amid a slight system tweak from Brendan Rodgers, the Celts didn't particularly miss the usually influential pair. There remain gaps in the champions squad, however, with Yang Hyun-jun the sole natural winger in Saturday's matchday squad. Signing a new wide man will assuredly be on Rodgers' agenda this month, although he delivered a coy update on incomings when questioned on Saturday. "We want to strengthen the squad, we want to improve the squad," he said. "Over the coming weeks, I'm sure we'll look to improve the squad. With just over 3 weeks left of the January window, there remains a wealth of time for Rodgers and co. to make additions. The club weren't afraid to spend big in the summer with the likes of Arne Engels coming in for £11 million, Adam Eder for £9 million, and Austin Trusty for £6 million. £7 million rated Sarpsborg wide man Sondre Ørjesæter has been recently linked with a move to Parkhead. It remains to be seen what Rodgers' squad will look like come the end of deadline day in a few weeks. In other news, Chris Sutton was in disbelief at Chris Boyd's meltdown following Celtic's 4-1 win over Ross County the other day. The boys put in a dominant performance in the Highlands, with Kyogo Furuhashi, Arnie Engels and Luke McCowan all getting on the score sheet. The game involved several penalty calls. Firstly, Reo Hatate went down in the Ross County box in the first half, although referee Matthew McDermott waved it away. The hosts were then given a spot kick on the hour mark. Alistair Johnston clattered into Kieran Phillips at the back post. Boyd demanded the Celtic right-back be sent off post-match. The Hoops then got a penalty of their own, at which there can't be any complaints. Engels converted it at the second time of asking. Although the visitors' fourth goal, scored by Luke McCowan, looked initially fine, Boyd complained that Engels was offside and resultantly interfering with play in the build-up. "It's the rules," he said. "Is he interfering with play?" Beg Piosento Sutton couldn't hold back after his fellow pundit's outburst. He said, Sky Sports, "I can't take him seriously. 4-1, blimey whinging." Despite Boyd's complaints over decisions, Celtic were entirely dominant in yesterday's game and deservedly won. They were well worth the victory and now turn their attention to Tuesday evening's trip to face Dundee. Tony Docherty will have his side well organised for the visit of the champions, who will be after nothing but 3 points. In other news, Brendan Rodgers was pleased to see his makeshift Celtic attack rise to the occasion in Saturday's 4-1 victory over Ross County, despite a nervy moment in the second half when the hosts briefly drew level from the penalty spot. With the score tied at 1-1 heading into the final stages, Celtic shifted gears and stormed to a comfortable win. The result was particularly satisfying for Rodgers, given the absence of two key performers, Dyson Maeda and Nicholas Kuhn. Speaking post-match, Rodgers commended his squad's resilience and professionalism. However, his mood visibly shifted when the conversation turned to Celtic's previous humbling at Ibrox, a sore point for the manager after a bruising defeat to a struggling Rangers side. The Celtic manager even gave his head a shake in a "I still can't believe that happened" sort of nod. Reflecting on the Derby loss, Rodgers didn't mince his words. "It was never a Celtic team playing that game," he admitted. When asked if the defeat still stings, he responded candidly, "It always does when you lose any game, especially a Celtic versus Rangers game in the manner that we did." Rodgers' expression and tone betrayed a manager still grappling with that result, a loss that clearly lingers in his mind. But his comments also hinted at his determination to right those wrongs. He understands that while a win at Ross County is expected, it still demands hard graft. Complacency can quickly lead to dropped points, and Rodgers is intent on avoiding any slip-ups as the season progresses. There's every reason to believe that Rodgers already knows exactly what he'll say to his players when the next Glasgow derby comes around. The Celtic boss will want to ensure that the mistakes of Ibrox are not repeated, and that when it matters most, his side delivers a performance worthy of the badge. Lastly, Atlanta United are considering a big money move for former Celtic striker Odsonne Edouard amid speculation about Kyogo Furuhashi potentially moving stateside. Confusion was sparked midweek when the official MLS website published an article suggesting that the Hoops number 8 had completed a move to Ronny Deiler's side. The league later apologised for their error, with Celtic manager Brendon Rodgers stating he is keen to keep the striker around after he put in a man-of-the-match performance in yesterday's 4-1 win over Ross County in the Highlands. Kyogo has been previously linked with a move to Atlanta, although according to a report from American journalist Tom Bogert in Give Me Sport, the club are focusing on 2 striker targets for one of their designated player spots, none of which are the Japanese frontman. Indeed, Middlesbrough's Emmanuel Latte Lath and, rather surprisingly, ex-Hoops frontman Edward, who is currently on loan at Leicester City from Crystal Palace, are the 2 players Atlanta are looking at up top. Any transfer would involve big money. The Americans have, according to Bogert, cooled their interest in Kyogo. If push comes to shove and Deiler eventually doesn't pursue a move for the Japan international, he will be doing his old club a massive favour. While there have been doubts over the 29-year-old's abilities at certain points this season, he sent a reminder yesterday of what he is all about despite a slight change of position. One can never be certain of a player's future, although Celtic fans will be greatly encouraged to hear that. After all, Atlanta might have turned their attention away from Kyogo. Celtic fans, what are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let us know down in the comments section below. That does bring us to the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you